All right, we are live on YouTube. And with that, I would like to call this meeting of the Charter, or excuse me, this workshop of the Charter Revision Commission to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the
and to the
republic
republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll give Don another minute before we dive in. So we are at the home stretch for us. We have received back changes from the Board of Aldermen, and our only remaining duty is to go through them, agree or disagree with them. We can, of course, make any other change that we see fit. Then we will be sending these back to the Board of Aldermen tomorrow, assuming we get through everything tonight, which I think we will. And then it's up to the aldermen to either vote yes or no on it. They cannot make further changes. And if they vote yes, it goes on the ballot for November. And if they vote no, then it dies. And so this passed, the recommendations you're going to see tonight passed 7-0 from the board. And Gary and I sat down with John Anglace, the president of the board, to go through them so we understood their rationale. So I will represent that tonight. Gary, just feel free to chime in if I miss something. Sure. I would say 80% of these that you're going to see are of a technical nature. So I'm going to go fast through the ones that are boring, and I'll slow down on the ones that actually have an impact.
It's bad timing because you should have set me up when I was done with
karate.
karate.
I know it was an overlap though. You can say hi to everybody. Danny just got done with karate. Could you go?
It's 7:02, even though it's supposed to be at 7 o'clock.
Could you go up and see mommy and she'll get you changed?
Okay.
Yeah,
All
wax on, wax off, huh?
That's on, wax off. Believe me, he can beat me up already. So I don't know if karate was a good idea. Hi Don, how you doing?
Good, Dan. Howdy, everybody.
I'm doing good, my friend. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Did you lose power?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah. We got it back, I don't know. I guess it was Saturday night.
Okay.
So not bad.
It's bad enough, but somehow it worked. Somehow it works. Well, good. Well, so for our last workshop tonight, let me share our screen and I will walk through the changes from the Board of Aldermen. Stop me at any time if I'm going too fast, because a lot of these are, you'll read them and you'll be like, yep, okay. Starting with correcting the page numbers. Yep, okay. So they corrected. All right, preamble. Basically, many of you probably saw in the public hearing, if you watched it, Tom Harbinson had some very thoughtful changes to the preamble, some of which were very moving based on his father's experience coming to the town as a new resident, hence saying residents rather than citizens. And so he just had some edits you can see here to the preamble. Any questions or comments on those?
Not really, but I'm okay with what is, changed.
As am I. Okay. If anyone's any changes, let me know. Technical change, calling it the state of Connecticut and the United States. It's fine. All right, first substantive change. So one of the things that we had put in here was the shortening of the terms of the library board from 6 years to 4. We cannot do that and deprive somebody of their office. So under state statute, once you're duly elected, you are legally allowed to serve out your term. So we simply eliminated the language saying that, hey, November 2021, there'll be 4, right, which would have cut some people's terms off. So instead, the board will start to rotate once their terms start to expire. The thing that will happen next year is there'll be the election of 1 additional board member. So there'll be an election for, since we're going from 6 to 7, there will be an election for 1 next year. Planning and zoning, that's not an issue because their terms already are staggered as we discussed here. We're just adding one. So there'll be one additional one elected next year. Just stop me if there's discussion. Okay, chapter 3. No changes to chapter 3, chapter 4. Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't there? Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say on 4.3.3, in one of the sentences in there, it says the clerk of the board. Should that be changed to the administrative secretary?
Yes, good catch. Let me write that down. Give me 1 second.
And why did they, well, we didn't get to it yet, but they added, of aldermen, a number of places, but not in all places. Is there a reason for that?
No, the intention was, so the intention in this section was twofold. One was to ensure Board of Aldermen was spelled out everywhere. And the other was to change the clerk of the board to the administrative secretary, because by ordinance, apparently that's what that's what the position is called now.
Oh, okay.
To which I'm fine with that. But so in 433, we got to change clerk to the administrative secretary. And is there any other area that you saw here where it said board? All right, so 431, there's board. 431.
Just Board of Aldermen. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of Aldermen go at all the places that
It should.
says board?
It should in this section.
Well, there's quite a few, I think, that it's not.
Yeah. Good. Well, let's go through. I'm sorry, this is annoying. Let's just go through and do it now. So they want to present the board, president of the board. I think that's fine. Board of Aldermen. Board of Aldermen shall hold regular meetings. The mayor and 2 members of the Board of Aldermen. Meetings of the board. So 431 has members of the board. We'll add in of aldermen. 5 members of the Board of Aldermen shall constitute pass budgetary matters. All actions. All right. Nothing in 432. 433. We got to change clerk of the board.
Should it be a Board of Aldermen or just of the board is okay there?
We should do the Board of Aldermen.
Well, then in 4.2, should it be Board of Aldermen when they elect the president and vice president? It just says aldermen shall meet and elect one of the members as president of the board and one of the members as president of the board. So do we need to put Board of Aldermen? That's what I didn't know, why they did it in some places and why they didn't do it in others.
Yeah, can't answer that, but we can make it consistent.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll have no problem with that. The intent, John and the alderman's intent was to put Board of Aldermen in. If they missed a couple places, we'll just fill it in.
Okay.
Let's keep looking here. So 433, clerk of the board. All right, the Board of Aldermen shall. The Board of Aldermen shall. Just standing for Board of Aldermen shall. All right, no other mention of the board there. Appointments. Board of Aldermen. Board of Aldermen. Board of Aldermen. Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen.
Well, on 452, did you get the Board of Aldermen? Oh, they put it in already. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I'm going fast because
4.6 at the very end should be under investigation by the Board of Aldermen.
Yep, they caught that.
Yep. Oh, they got that one. Okay. I didn't put that in my notes. Okay, my fault.
Yep, that's all right. They got that one. In 471, they got it. Board of Aldermen and Administrative Secretary.
Okay.
472 has one. Committee of the
Right.
board.
And a couple places. In no shall committees of the board withdraw the proposed accordance from further consideration by the board. I mean, there's like 3 of them.
Yep. Good, got that. I'll make these changes. Board of Aldermen, Administrative Secretary, Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen. Okay, 473 is okay. 474, Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen. Okay, that one's okay. 475 doesn't mention it. 48, Administrative Secretary of the Board of Aldermen. 481. Okay,
Yeah, that could be added.
There's another one down, second to the bottom.
yep, I see it,
Okay.
that one. Okay, nothing in 482. 483, we've got one. Administrative Secretary of the Board of Aldermen. Okay. We got another one further
Yeah.
down. Has been read to the board. Failure to return, doesn't mention it. 49 has it.
There's one there in 4.9
Yep.
for the board.
There's another one in the next paragraph as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Emergency action, the Board of Aldermen.
Yep.
411, the Board of Aldermen. Board of Aldermen, the Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen, Board of Aldermen. Board of Aldermen. All right, good. So 411 is okay.
Mm-hmm.
12, Board of Aldermen. Okay, so I got a whole bunch of sections here that I got to go back in and add of Aldermen. So I will take care of that in the next version.
Oh, okay, and can you go back to 4.4? You were doing all of Aldermen, so there was something. In the second sentence, it says this charter or the laws of the city or state, and back in 2.2, they
Yep.
changed it to the state of Connecticut, and I'm wondering if they want to change that there as well.
Yep, we should make it aligned. So we'll make it aligned with 2.2.
Right.
Perfect.
And the United States. Should be
Correct.
state of Connecticut or the United States. Yeah.
Perfect.
Just to go with 2.2. Okay.
I like that. Make it parallel. Good. So those were the changes in chapter 4.
Yep.
Chapter 5. Minority representation, no changes. Clerical change, there was an extra space in 5211. Oh, John wanted to just call the clerks of these boards meeting clerks. I don't remember the logic there, Gary. Do
Yeah,
you?
I believe they have an ordinance and that's what they call
Got it.
Oh, as opposed to the I wondered why they called one administrative secretary and the other meeting clerks.
Right.
They're both clerks.
them. They're both clerks, but I guess they hire some to do, various commissions and, some are part-time and it's all done by ordinance.
Okay, so those clerks or administrative secretary, whatever, they're somebody that's not elected or whatever. It's not somebody from the group that's been elected.
That's right.
One of them. Okay, so it's completely, okay.
That's right. Much like, under this, Sophia would be our meeting clerk, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, there's that. Library board. Oh, just a good catch here is that under the drawing down from the library fund, it basically said the directors, and so they changed that to the library board chairman, which I thought was proper.
Well, how does that library board chairman get picked, or who is it? Because there's no designation anywhere that I could find.
The library board chairman should be.
I mean, unless I missed it somewhere.
Should be up in 2.2. That doesn't mention chairman. Oops. Wait, where was I? Okay, so do you want to put in the same language for chairman that we have for Board of Education and Planning and Zoning?
Yes.
Well, I would think that's what needs to be there.
Yep. Okay.
If that's how if that's how that person's chosen, their first meeting after elected, something to that effect.
Okay, replicate the language for the library board chair. Okay.
And then
Okay.
you have to do that under the Board of Ed one too?
No, Board of Ed already has it.
Okay,
Board of Ed
Yeah,
already-
the Board of Ed already has it. Yeah, one is like the, yeah. the
And we
tab.
added it in under the planning and zoning, so
okay.
we should add it in for library board. Okay, and then so with the meeting clerk for planning and zoning, that payment is actually not established by the commission, it's established by ordinance. So they took
Oh,
that,
okay.
they took that out. Appointments, fine. Okay, administrative secretary, the Board of Aldermen. Board of Aldermen. So substantive change is John felt that 90 days was too long to leave vacancies. And he basically said that if a vacancy continues more than 30 days, either the mayor or the remaining members of the board may place a name in nomination.
That's fine, but does that mean, how about remaining members of that, of that board? That doesn't mean to be Board of Aldermen, it's whatever board in general, right? Yeah, okay.
So I'm okay with that. Any,
That's
Okay.
fine.
I'm okay with it.
Yep.
down here, there was just the word chief of staff just appeared. It was probably part of a sentence we deleted. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that out. Oops.
Is that what those little asterisks means? There's just some little, needs a comma or needs something on the sides?
Yeah, I think it's stuff that my guess is stuff John caught at the last minute and as he was walking in, he's like, yeah, just a little nit, John.
Okay.
Arrow, so, right, like here, just a comma,
Right, okay, that's what I figured, okay.
another comma. Okay, a big one. Here's a big one. Is John said, hey, one of the things that we should put in charter, we have the public building committees for any time that we have a large project going on over 500,000. He said there's actually a body that exists called the Public Improvement Building Committee that manages below 500,000. So if you need new windows in a building, something that's small, and they are a standing committee, right? Because there's always something small going on. And they basically serve the same function as one of the larger building committees, just on an ongoing basis for small projects. So he had it added in here with 7 members. They shall manage all public building improvements up to $500,000. They shall develop a project program with input from the appropriate department heads. And each committee shall supervise all improvements up to 500,000, and they basically can appoint and remove professional service providers as necessary.
Has there always been 7 members on this board? That's what's on it already?
There actually are 8 right now, if I remember,
Oh.
Gary, and I think we said we would go to 7. Is that right?
I think so, yes.
I think if I
Okay.
remember correctly.
But Dan, this is, they've done projects over 500,000.
Yep.
So they may, right? So this is John's other point, is that so the city may have a public building committee for each public building project, which would be about 500,000.
So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So anything over 500, they can assign it to the Public Improvement Building Committee.
They could. There's
Or
no,
they can establish a new committee?
Or establish a new committee.
Okay,
So if they were gonna, like, if I know they've done windows or a roof, they would give it to the Public Building Committee. If there was building a school, for argument's sake, they would form a new committee to build a school building committee.
yeah. So what I'll do here, Gare, is let's actually just add a sentence saying that, make it explicit, right? At the end saying the Public Improvement Building Committee may be assigned projects above 500,000.
Correct.
And then the city may have a public building committee for each public building, which is above 500,000.
Right.
Yeah. Once I was writing that down. Great. Perfect. Then we have Change to the Public Building Committee, just making it consistent with the way we do everything else. It said the Board of Aldermen shall appoint, we made it the mayor shall nominate, and the Board of Aldermen shall approve, right? So just saying, making it consistent.
Should that be for the Board of Aldermen, back on that one?
Mhm.
14 days after the Board of Aldermen, should that be of Aldermen there?
Where?
After 14 days after the Board
On the board, yep,
Oh.
yep,
of Aldermen there.
yep. Okay. Like to note for the record, the annoyingness of the Board of Aldermen to be unable to use Microsoft Word because I can't do this real time. So write these down. All right. It's all PDFs. All right, Technology Committee. Another substantive change is basically the aldermen felt like, look, we know we're trying to be consistent with the mayor appointing and the aldermen approving. This Technology Committee is unique, though, basically in saying that this really is supposed to represent both the Board of Education and the city side. And the Board of Education may not feel like they have skin in the game if they only recommend nominations to the mayor. So they wanted this to be 3 chosen by the mayor, 3 chosen by the alderman, and 3 by the Board of Education. So that has the pro of achieving what I just said. It has the con of being different than the others that we've put in here.
Right, and then they also put in that the mayor and the superintendent of schools shall serve as ex officio.
That's right. Reaction to that?
I think that's a pretty fair recommendation.
I agree.
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay.
I'm not liking the superintendent of schools shall be an ex officio.
Okay.
The mayor and perhaps someone chosen by the committee, because there's a lot of turnover in superintendents. And what if you get a superintendent that really doesn't know much about technology and they are there?
They're not voting members. They're ex officio. So
Yeah, but
they're allowed to attend the meeting.
And not to be
all right,
completely-
if they're just going to attend the meeting, but to put them in charge of another meeting, no.
They're
Oh,
not.
no. Ex officio basically means they're there. They're there to basically represent themselves. They're not voting members. And Jarlis, I would,
Okay.
he's a friend of mine, so I get to say it. The mayor's not, our current mayor is no expert in IT either. So I think they're there to represent the schools and the city. Presumably the 9 members would be the experts in IT, if
Okay.
they're chosen properly, and they would be the ones making the decisions.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want to put experts, you got to have an age limit. And you shouldn't be over like 15 years old.
Must be able to use TikTok. Do you want to put that there? There's so many platforms I have no idea how to use now.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of, you have to have an iPhone 10 or the latest, there's going to be all kinds of things that are.
Exactly right. Okay, so
Okay, I'm good with it
you
then.
good with it? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else good with that? Okay. Public Employee Appeals Board, right? So you can see below here, we just put in a couple of, spelling it out, Public Employee Appeals Board. The substantive sentence that was put in there was just saying, employees shall make a good faith effort to resolve issues with their supervisor and the chief of staff before filing an appeal. Right, so remember, this is the board for all non-union workers. The union has their own grievance procedure, but for non-union employees, this is where they can go to file a grievance. And this sentence is just basically saying, hey, before you file it, did you talk to your supervisor? Did you talk to the chief of staff? Really making this board a last resort after you've tried to resolve it. It made sense to me.
Mhm.
Comments on that one?
No, that's good.
Yeah, it made sense to me too, except there's 3 spots in that paragraph that you have to add.
Oh, you cut out there, Leanne. think we lost Leanne.
Oh, I said, there's a few spots where you have to add of aldermen
Oh, there's a couple of.
in that
aldermen.
paragraph or in that section.
Okay, I don't think there is. I think that's where.
Yeah,
that
I think
we
there's
put in
three.
the
I think
public-
there's
When we
three.
say board, this is why we're putting it in. We mean Public Employee Appeals Board.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we added those
Okay,
in there. Didn't mean
gotcha.
Board of Aldermen. A good catch.
That doesn't mean Board of Aldermen. Okay, okay.
Okay, and you're just breaking up a little bit, Leanne. Oh, I called
Is
Leanne.
that- Is that completely new?
I know,
language?
I'm using my daughter-in-law's iPad. It's better than mine. It's more up to date.
Good, we can hear you again. We can hear you again. Sorry, go ahead, Don.
Is that
Technology.
Is that completely new language? Employees shall make a good faith effort.
Yes, that is completely new language.
And what constitutes a good faith effort?
It's a good question. I don't know if there's a legal standard that is a good faith effort.
In a union contract, you'd have you'd have a procedure. You'd have days, you know, as you pursued your administrative remedies, right? I don't know. Is this John's language also?
Presumably, so yeah, it's from the board. So I'm presuming that John wrote it, but
It's kind of meaningless.
Yeah, and I don't think there's really only a handful of people that would even go through this board. Most people have, you know, union contracts.
right.
I'm not in love with it.
I'm not. I'm fine with it, but I'm also not wed to it. I'm okay with taking it out. I agree with you, Don. I don't think it's going to change any. Don, I don't think it's going to change anything practically.
Yeah, I think if it had the employee submitting his grievance, if it had his supervisor or the chief of staff responding in a certain number of days, employees dissatisfied, he approaches the board, but it doesn't even lay out a procedure. It's just going to create a point of contention, potentially.
John's feeling was that he wanted them to go to the chief of staff first to try to work it out, so we wouldn't be spending money on, you know, lawyers and everything else. So that would be the first place
Right.
to do that.
Does that need to be spelled out then?
Or does it belong in charter? Right? Is that something that should be, you know?
Well, that
Like, I think the Don's point of, like, this is where I just don't know, is that does this phrase have legal teeth? Is there a standard for good faith effort that could be enforced, or is this just kind of a fluffy sentence that's like, yeah, you should go talk to your boss and the chief of staff?
Well, I think that's why John put that in there, is so that somebody would read it and know that that's the first step. They would have to go to their boss and the chief of staff. Hopefully it could be resolved there. And he says,
That's how I read
anytime
it
you
too.
have anything, that's where it goes. So, you know,
Can
to
I just say,
employees-
that would be me, and it would be just logical to just go to my boss first.
Right.
I don't think I need it in the charter to tell me that's what I gotta do. Cause I'm not in the union. This would be for me.
Right.
But you know, we're thinking about 10 years down the line. And I think there will be a younger group of employees may need this because they won't have the benefit of us old timers saying this
No,
is
I think
logical.
No, I think any child or any
It's
teenager
common sense.
that goes to a job knows that your boss is your boss, and then you go up the chain of command. I mean, that's just.
I don't know.
It's common sense, really.
Yeah, but there's a lot of 20-year-olds that don't have a lot of common sense. I
Yeah,
don't think it
but I don't
hurts to
think you should
have
do
it.
it in the charter, though. I really don't think you should do it in the charter.
Any,
Well,
I
can you
kind of
cover
agree
it
with
by an
that.
ordinance
it should be an
or maybe a handbook?
yeah.
Well, you get a handbook when you get hired at City Hall, so I mean, it's just logical.
My question would be, is that in the handbook?
Right.
Maybe it's
I
in,
believe
maybe
it
it's in the handbook.
I believe it is. It's a chain of
Yeah.
command, and that's exactly, I think, what it's called.
All right, so let's do this. Let's strike the language.
I agree.
Maybe you should put employees shall go through the chain of command for, to
Yeah.
resolve issues or
I
something
think
to
the point
that.
that sentence should be put, that's a, something like we put in a handbook. That's not something that needs.
Right, right.
It is common sense. Okay, so we will take that sentence out. Everything else there is just technical changes. Again, you put in general provisions for boards of commissions, because there's also general provisions for employees later on. This add in, I think, came from the testimony of Ruth Parkins at the public hearing, basically
Yes.
saying that the Planning and Zoning Commission's members, because of potential conflicts of interest, should be limited to only that board. I'm comfortable with that.
I am too.
Yeah, I am too.
Anybody in opposition to that? There's an extra floating T down here that they got rid of. All right, now we're in chapter 6, chief of staff. So got rid of just a hanging phrase here. That's just grammar. But then the more substantive ones is there are no more full-time or part-time employees of all boards and commissions, right? So basically just saying that if you're a full-time or part-time employee, you report up to the mayor. You're not reporting to a board or a commission.
Okay.
Okay.
So in line with the spirit of everything else we've done. Right, and crossing out the next line, such supervision shall not be deemed to infringe on the authority of such boards and commissions granted by this charter. Again, they took that sentence out, I think properly so. Okay, let's keep scrolling down. Okay, got to flip over to the other document. Faxed it over, I think, in 2 separate documents. All right. Treasurer, Building Department, Department of Public Works. Got it. So basically on the Department of Public Works, basically saying that the Department of Public Works shall supervise and administer everything except for areas designated by the mayor, right? So I think they're basically saying that's an executive, not a legislative function, which I can buy. And then basically getting rid of the chargeback language for the Board of Education. I think John's logic was we can work that out outside of charter.
Okay.
Okay, any objection to that one?
Nope, not by me.
Okay,
Yeah.
scrolling. Public safety, nothing in police, nothing in fire. Fire marshal, emergency management, the commission. So basically just added in the word commission to the title, but then a substantive change, I think, to make this parallel with the fire department, got rid, I mean, we're not in chapter 5 anymore. So the minority representation rule no longer applies, but we had put minority representation on the EMS commission. And I think John's logic here was, hey, we want the fire department to be, nonpartisan. We want the same thing for the EMS commission. I don't feel strongly one way or the other about this one.
I'm okay with that.
Any discussion or objections? Okay, if not. Okay, general provision for employees. All right, we're in chapter 7. All right. Oh, technical changes, 7.4, instead of this chapter, this charter, needs to be space there between publish as. All right, a little bit, John actually wanted to put in language that had the alderman doing more things required by charter with the budget. basically saying the Board of Aldermen shall review the public submitted budget, shall hold the public departmental hearings, shall hold at least one public hearing, and shall hold such other budget workshops as they deem appropriate. And just adding in the word public, that, you know, the electorate taxpayer can speak at the public hearing, not just any hearing. I'm okay with that. It replicates what the Board of A&T did, so I'm fine with that.
Did the Board of Aldermen have a public hearing in addition to the Board of Tax and Apportionment public hearing?
In the previous, yes, in the previous version they did.
So previously there were 2 hearings and now there's 1?
Correct.
You would think 2 would be preferable, wouldn't you?
You know,
Something as significant as the budget.
It is significant, but the question, just thinking practically of it, is there anybody who, you know, do you need 2, like in the amount of time that the Board of Aldermen have, right? So they get the budget from the mayor on, where is it? No later than May 1st. And they basically have 2 weeks that they gotta go through that. And then, you know, by what we said, right, they got to do it not later than May 15th. And then they got to finalize it by May 31st. So we're saying within 2 weeks, do you need more than 1 public hearing?
Okay.
Probably not. It's my gut. They can have more, right? It says at least 1 public hearing. So they could have.
That's doubtful.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Administrative secretary. Or just adding in the word or here was missing grammatically. Oh, John, they just wanted to, rather than putting in a designated subcommittee, they just wanted to say it is the finance committee that can do the line item transfers. And
Where is the finance committee come from?
I knew you were going to say that. So it's a problem with the charter that I'm going to just say it's wrong, and I'm okay with living it. If we wanted to do this the correct way, we should go back and define the committees of the Board of Aldermen. It's why I wanted to put in designated subcommittee. We don't define the committees of the Board of Aldermen anywhere in here.
Oh, okay.
So there is a let me just put it this way. I think John is wrong, to be blunt. He is putting into charter a committee that is not defined by charter, and I think it should be or designated subcommittee. That gives them the flexibility to say it's the finance committee, rather than us have to write the finance committee into the charter, which would be the proper thing to do. So my vote on this one would be to reject their language and go back to or designated subcommittee, but I don't feel strongly about it, right? The charter doesn't have to be a perfect document, but you're absolutely right, Ruth Ann, that's what we should have done.
Yeah, because I went back and read, I said, I don't see anything about a finance committee. How, we're mentioning one and doesn't even say how we get one.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I agree with that. There are people.
I agree with that. Let's go designated subcommittee.
All right, what section is this? 7-8D.
Is he concerned that there could be some squabbling over
I think he's just.
what committee performs that role?
No, I think he's just being practical. I think he just didn't think it through, that we haven't defined it anywhere in charter, and this practically is who will do it, right? It's the logical body to do it. Just we haven't defined it in charter. So
Would they be members of the Board of Aldermen?
They
The
are.
sub-
Yeah.
They are.
Okay, all right, that's
Right
what
now,
I
think-
figured, but
I
okay,
think the aldermen have 3 committees right now, and they are all members of the Board of Aldermen.
of the board. Okay, okay.
Not unless you wanted to put in such as the finance committee.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need to even mention it, right? Let the board designate it, rather than us getting into the business of designating who the committees of the Board of Aldermen shall be.
I mean, I really don't think it won't pass just because of that, but. you know.
No,
If it doesn't, then we're very, very bad at our jobs.
Right, and somebody's very, very astute.
All right, we keep going. All right, the big change, bidding. So 7-Eleven. The big change here was John felt, and the alderman, I should say, I keep saying John, John's the one we talked to. The alderman who passed the 7-0 felt two things. One is that 25,000 was too high, going too far with the bidding, and we should start bidding at 15,000, which is a increase from today. It's doubling from today, and they felt that that was sufficient. Second change is they did not like leaving the standards of the what the bid should be accepted up to the Board of Aldermen, with the logic really being is that we would probably just adopt the language that's in the charter. And so kind of being that, look, the lowest responsible bidder does leave very little room for shenanigans, and they wanted to keep that language. So the language you see here, even though it reads as new because it's new to our version, it's actually the original language, with the exception of the city website instead of going to the papers. This is the language that's there now. Reaction to that?
The terminology lowest responsible bidder is currently in the charter.
Correct.
Yes. So does that mean they automatically go to whoever comes in the lowest? That's who gets the job? Is that basically what that means?
Yes, unless the term lowest responsible would mean if there's some evidence that they cannot meet the requirements laid out in the bid, right?
Oh,
so,
okay.
for example, we've asked that you be certified in X, Y, and Z, and you are not. So even though you're the lowest bidder, you can be thrown out.
Okay.
But otherwise, they have to go with the lowest bidder.
So this was something that was in from the beginning, right, Dan? And then we took it out, we're putting it back in?
We took it out. The aldermen want to put it back in. I'm not going to, I disagree with them, right? I disagreed with John when I talked to him. I said, I actually think you want the flexibility to be able to change that over time. If you want to put that, you just want to put the charter language into ordinance, go ahead, but now you can change it. John's feeling, I think, was that, look, bidding is an area, you just look at towns like Fairfield, right, where this process, if it's too loosey-goosey, can lead to problems. So John was kind of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's working well. Keep it as it is. Yes, raise the amount to 15,000. He thought that was reasonable. I argued with him a little bit. I do think 25,000 is reasonable, right? If you think practically about what has to go out to bid. And I told him I would think you would want the flexibility, but no, I'm not going to die on this. I feel strongly about the next point I'm going to make. This one I'm not going to die on the sword about.
Okay.
I agree.
What was the original amount of dollars?
7,500 right now.
Oh, and so they're going up 5,000 versus
We're
we were doubling it. And okay, I mean, I agree. It should probably be more because 15,000 is nothing these days. But whatever. Okay, I'm okay with that.
John felt strongly on this one, so I'm not gonna die on the sword. Okay, next one. This one I do feel strongly about is when they reversed back to the original language for what needs 3 quotes, right? 3 written proposals, and they went back to the original numbers, right? Which was anything between 2,000 and 7,500. So first off, that leaves a gap between 7,500 and
15,000.
12. Yeah,
right?
15.
That needs to be changed. And also, I think we should increase 2,000, right? So they didn't increase 2,000. I think that should be increased either to 5,000 or 7,500. Again, I think the purchasing agent, based on his testimony, recommended that. And my guess is that's just an oversight on the alderman's part.
So it should be 75, anything under 7,500.
And the above 7,500, but less than 15,000.
Then 15,000, then they need to just solicit quotes.
3 quotes.
What did we have for the solicitation of 3 quotes?
I thought it was 2,500, but
we actually got rid of it, right? So if you look at our
Right.
language that was crossed out, we basically said the Board of Aldermen shall establish the monetary
Right.
level. Right, they have that. We said they have to establish a level, but they can pick it, right? And so he was, again, John's logic was, nope, don't want that power. We want it written into charter. And so, I'm comfortable with the concept of, putting that language back in. I just want to change the numbers.
I don't have an issue with them having to get 3 quotes if it's a $2,000 item. I mean, I think that's just being diligent. Because there's a lot of those. I see the discrepancy with the 7,500 and then starting the bidding at.
Yeah, we definitely have to change the upper bound, right? The upper bound definitely has to be 15,000, right? The
Yeah.
question is, what do we set the lower bound at, right? And this is where, Don, I would just argue that given the intention here, something like 5,000 seems more reasonable to me, because you're right. There are a lot of things that are, $2,500, $3,000, but the amount of time you're spending getting 3 written proposals versus the value you're creating for the taxpayer, I would argue it's neutral to negative, right? We have people spending all their time chasing down three quotes for these smaller items, of which there are many. It just doesn't seem efficient to me.
It could be a repair, right?
That's right.
The transmission goes in a car.
Right.
You're going to run to 3 dealers to get quotes, or do you go to the guy?
Right.
And so I think it's a load, and I think that's what the purchasing, Gene Sullivan, said at his thing. That's why I think 7,500 is reasonable, but
Why don't we just go back to the language we had?
But because the alderman said we thought, let the alderman decide it, and they could change it at any given time. If they think it's too low, they do it by ordinance. They could do it every 2 years.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they should.
They don't want that
They
responsibility.
don't want to do that. No one wants to do it.
I would make it 5,000.
That's unfortunate.
I agree. I agree.
I agree too, Ruth Ann. Make it 5,000.
2,500 or 5,000, make it an even number, then what?
I'm comfortable with any any higher number. I think 5,000 is fine. I'm fine with 7,500. Don, if you're not comfortable with raising it that much, why don't we go?
Oh, I don't care. I like the language we had in there. I think it's their job. I think they should do it.
I agree with you.
So.
I agree with you.
And again, we've talked about, it gives them the flexibility to be nimble
Right.
as they go forward.
I mean, John did say, he goes, they could always come to us and we'll waive the bids.
Right.
Which we do a lot, but.
Which is possible, right? That later on we do that. The Board of Aldermen does have that power.
Right.
All right, so let's set the low, as Ruth Ann suggested, let's set the lower bound at 5,000 and the upper bound at 15,000.
Okay.
So what happens in between?
In between what? Oh, so up to 5,000, you can just go do what he needs to do. Just go get it. Between 5,000 and 15,000, need to get 3 quotes. Above 15,000, it's got to go out to bid.
Go out to bid.
Okay.
Okay, everybody comfortable with that?
Mhm.
Okay. Everything else is just adding back in original language.
Okay.
Again here, Finance Committee, he had it in Finance Committee here. I'm gonna change that to the parallel language. What is that? That's 711, what, we're in 711D? 711F.
Mhm.
711F.
Sounds right.
Remove Finance Committee.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and there's a change here just from shall to may. The other aspect here was he was like, look, this is basically saying that the the Board of Aldermen shall review essentially the general ledger, right? Like review all the general ledger entries. And John was kind of like, we practically don't do that, right? Like the legislative body doesn't go in and review the general ledger. He's like, I'm fine with having the power to do that, right? In case there's something going on and we need to go in and review it, but practically we're not reviewing the general ledger, and that makes complete sense to me. Okay. And that was it. I think there's no changes to chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's it. So those were all the changes from the aldermen. I have, just to summarize, 8 changes back to them. One was, I'm just counting all of the Board of Aldermen in chapter 4 as one change, right? So we're gonna make that parallel. Going to change 4.4 to make consistent with the 2.2 wording, which was
Right.
the wording around the, what was that? I'm trying to remember.
The city and the state of Connecticut and the United.
That's right. We're going to replicate the language for the library board chair. Right, so that'll be parallel with the P&Z and Board of Education. We're going to add into 537 that the Board of Aldermen may designate the Public Improvement Building Committee for anything over 500,000. And there was another Board of Aldermen there. In 539, we were going to strike that new sentence from the Public Employees Board. In 7.8 D and E, we were going to remove the Finance Committee language. And 711B, for the 3 quotes, we're going to set the lower bound at 5,000, upper bound at 15,000. And 711F, again, remove the Finance Committee and make it a subcommittee designated by the Board of Aldermen. So that's the changes I got. Anything else? Any other changes you guys want to make? This is Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Peace.
When are we officially voting on this?
Tomorrow at 1.
Tomorrow.
So
You go to City Hall, correct?
At City Hall. We're doing it live. So
Okay.
what I'm going to do is tonight, I'm going to get this out to all of you in 3 versions, right? Version 1 is going to be, what did we change from the Board of Aldermen, right? So just very few red lines of what we changed from them. Second, it will be the red line version relative to the original charter, our current charter. So that will incorporate these changes plus the changes we made already. So a new full red line. And third will be just a clean copy with no red lines on it.
Yeah, Sophia, could you make copies?
I don't have a color. I'll have to.
I would just like to find.
I'll have to send it. I am working tomorrow, and unfortunately I'm by myself in the office, so I'll have to send it up to Cindy to see if she can print me 9 copies, because we don't have a color printer in our office.
Yeah, I don't care about the changes, just the version.
If you want the clean copy, Dan, if you can send that this way, I could just make sure like spacing and everything is right. I'll get that copy for all of you guys tomorrow.
Perfect. I will send
Okay.
you guys will have that before I go to bed tonight.
That's fine, and I'll do it first thing in the morning when I get in.
Okay. Dan, do you think this meeting will be long tomorrow?
Not unless you're going to filibuster.
Not me. I'm only asking because I have a dental appointment for about 1:45, and I got to go to Stratford.
You will make it. We will be out of there by 1:15.
Okay.
Will the Board of Aldermen be there or no?
They will not be there. John is going to put this on the agenda for their next meeting, which I believe is next week, next Thursday,
Okay.
for final approval.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, Dan, are they gonna establish what the question is gonna be on the ballot?
They have to, yes.
Okay,
Which
And-
presumably, let's see, where's my charter again? I think we have it from the last time that the question was,
Shall the charter of the city of Shelton be revised in accordance with the report and recommendations of the Charter Revision Commission?
that's exactly right. Right on our, I'll share my screen again, right on our front page. right? So that is, that they do need to establish that.
And then hopefully they'll have it approved by the end of the month.
Yes, and so that is the plan right now. I think, and I got to confirm with John, I think their next regular meeting is the 27th, which would be a week before the deadline.
Right, because we just got the thing from our printer. We need to give him our question as soon as possible because of all the problems we just had with the primary.
Got it.
Hmm.
Got it. Well, but barring any issues, we should have it.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
All right, gang. Anything else?
Thank you for talking with them, you and
Oh.
Gary.
It's absolutely no problem. Spending time with John is always a delight. So, all right, guys. Well, if there's no other business, we'll see you guys for our grand finale tomorrow at 1. And thank you as always. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Darlisa.
Second.
Second by Ruth Ann.
Second by Ruth Ann. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
We'll see
All
you
right,
guys
guys, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
okay, take it easy.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Bye.